he just shuns the UNC colors and moves on to the PNM colors, and there will be balance on the Douglas politics on Saturday night. The Douglas all of a sudden can just shake it up and be fiercely independent to go on a brew. Oh, I'm going to drink a coffee with my doubles on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to interview the Lion. The Lion of UNC, can he just shake off that branding and go on the morning brew? Oh my goodness, Douglas politics, 5:30 p.m. A brew of politics, a brew of information, a brew of bacchanal, a brew of honesty. Douglas politics, we don't play, we is UNC, but we giving you the facts straight up. Douglas politics, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas and the Lion roar. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Douglas politics Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We go early because TKR plays at 7 p.m. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas for this show alone, he's fiercely independent. He's going to brew some information. The PNM, oh my goodness, all of a sudden, the Douglas on Saturday is going to be equal, 50-50. Oh, he just shuns the UNC colors and moves on to the PNM colors, and there will be balance on the Douglas politics on Saturday night. The Douglas all of a sudden can just shake it up and be fiercely independent to go on a brew. Oh, I'm going to drink a coffee with my doubles on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to interview the Lion. The Lion of UNC, can he just shake off that branding and go on the morning brew? Oh my goodness, Douglas politics, 5:30 p.m. A brew of politics, a brew of information, a brew of bacchanal, a brew of honesty. Douglas politics, we don't play,
check
we
one,
is
check
UNC,
two, check,
but
check,
giving
check,
you the
check.
facts straight up. Douglas politics, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas and the Lion roar. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Douglas politics Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We go early because TKR plays at 7 p.m. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas for this show alone, he's fiercely independent. He's going to brew some information. The PNM, oh my goodness, all of a sudden, the Douglas on Saturday is going to be equal, 50-50. Oh, he just shuns the UNC colors and moves on to the PNM colors, and there will be balance on the Douglas politics on Saturday night. The Douglas all of a sudden can just shake it up and be fiercely independent to go on a brew. Oh, I'm going to drink a coffee with my doubles on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to interview the Lion. The Lion of UNC, can he just shake off that branding and go on the morning brew? Oh my goodness, Douglas politics, 5:30 p.m. A brew of politics, a brew of information, a brew of bacchanal, a brew of honesty. Douglas politics, we don't play, we is UNC, but we giving you the facts straight up. Douglas politics, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas and the Lion roar. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Douglas politics Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We go early because TKR plays at 7 p.m. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas for this show alone, he's fiercely independent. He's going to brew some information. The PNM, oh my goodness, all of a sudden, The Douglas on Saturday is going to be equal, 50-50. He just shuns the UNC colors and moves on to the PNM colors, and there will be balance on the Douglas politics on Saturday night. The Douglas all of a sudden can just shake it up and be fiercely independent to go on a brew. I'm going to drink a coffee with my doubles on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to interview the Lion. The Lion of UNC. Can he just shake off that branding and go on the morning brew? Oh my goodness. Douglas politics, 5:30 p.m. A brew of politics, a brew of information, a brew of bacchanal, a brew of honesty. Douglas politics. We don't play. We is UNC, but we giving you the facts straight up. Douglas politics, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. The Douglas and the Lion roar. Douglas politics this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Douglas politics, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We go early because TKR plays at 7 p.m. Douglas politics.
Douglas politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics.
Good afternoon and welcome to Douglas Politics. Happy Ganesha Chaturthi to the entire Hindu community of Trinidad and Tobago. As you all celebrate, say some extra prayers for our beloved country because we are in the throes of the darkest times in our history. And Douglas Politics, you all start to share the live. Yes, we're going early. You're not accustomed to Douglas Politics on a Saturday so early because I know we Trinis, we love with cricket. Tobagonian love the cricket. TKR at 7 p.m. Up later, the Lion, Roodal Moonilal. So let's get going. I was watching the cricket the other day and I saw Radical Trading doing an ad, you know, with my boy Sprang Along, and I was so glad to see it, and I hope that it continues in perpetuity because Sprang Along is a legend. But Radical, I just want to make sure, I don't know what the contract was with Sprang Along and so on. All right, so maybe if you renew it or if it was a show basis, I don't know if it's royalties or amount of time it show, call the wife and make sure that everything is good. But we love to see it. Radical Trading, Sprang Along ad, still bringing a smile to my face. Valentino Singh, boy, you know sport, boy. Let me tell you something, as a Manchester United fan, so bear with me. It's 8 years of torture I have been through. And today was the first time in 8 years that I could look at a TV playing any side and see the brilliance of Manchester United. Valentino Singh said that with Ronaldo coming on, he would lift the team. He would understand that everybody else, Pogba, would start to play. And Valentino Singh said that we would score 4. And Manchester United scored 4, the very best. I've been through torture with you teams in blue, you Manchester City fans, you Chelsea fans with all your blue. I don't know why I'm wearing blue today. I started to dislike blue, but now I can look at it. Even Leicester City with an amen between the 8 years Leicester City came. Manchester United put on some football today that was pure artistry. Ronaldo is not just about himself. Ronaldo lifted the level of the entire Manchester United team down to Greenwood, Shaw, Pogba, even coming on, Lingard came back from West Ham and started to play. If you see beautiful football, it was a joy to watch. 8 years was a long time. So Manchester United back to our glory. And now I feel we could win anything. Sunil Narayan left off of the archipop that day of the West Indies World Cup squad. You know, sometimes I just don't understand what we do. We have one opportunity to win a World Cup, T20 cricket. We cannot win the one-day World Cup and we cannot be in the top at Test cricket because we've lost our way and we have a lot of rebuilding to do. But T20 cricket, a short game, we could concentrate for that 3 hours. We have the best talent in batting, bowling, fielding, and all you leave out Sunil Narayan to put in O'Shane Thomas. O'Shane Thomas bowling slower than Odin Smith, and Odin Smith could bat. So I'm not understanding that. Furthermore, Dwayne Bravo is an all-rounder, but Dwayne Bravo's number one skill is his attitude and what he brings as a captain in leadership to a team. Dwayne Bravo is the X factor. Dwayne Bravo is a winner. Yes, he could bowl at the death. His fielding is amazing. He could bat sometimes fantastic. But he's always a winner, always a leader, always brings trophies to a team. And you pick Dwayne Bravo, but then you don't make him captain or vice captain. And understand, I love Pollard, I love Puran, I love Matrinis. But if you're picking a team, it must make sense. And don't tell me that he's on the team, so therefore he's always there to give advice. There is something about Dwayne Bravo leading a dressing room that the others don't have. Check it out. Check his career. Check how he wins. Check every moment on the field. Everything he does, constantly thinking about ways to win. So if you pick him, why not put him as the captain or vice captain? Yes, I love Puran. Puran, brilliant fella. But Guyana Amazon Warriors, the captaincy is not going so well. They're starting to pick up now. Maybe he will develop, but for a World Cup, listen, because T20, the winners will be by a oomph. You're going to try and win the World Cup by inches, and you leave out Sunil Narayan, and then you don't take every choice to make sure that we do our best. I know those were just some questionable things, but we are the best side in the world. We could match and we could defend our World Cup title, so we shall see. Talking sport, the sports ministry is going to foot the extra cost for the stranded hockey team. Now follow PNM's logic. PNM is so backward and ridiculous. I told you all before that the hockey teams going to a World Cup tournament needed to be there at least 2 weeks before their first match, so they could play at least 4 preparation warm-up matches. They could acclimatize, they could get accustomed to the food, the water, the bus, the field, the turf, how it running, the heat, the conditions, the oxygen levels, all of that. This lady here, this minister of sport who don't know nothing about sport, Douglas Camacho, a bigger dunce than she, decide, and he's the chairman of the hockey board, but only pushing a lady to come and talk to we about hockey. They send the team in on the eve of the first game. But here what happened now? They had to pay for 10 days after because the team got stranded. So they couldn't pay for the 10 days before for the 2 teams to go and perform well. Them paying because of stupidity, and here why they paying. The boys get stuck because Trinidad and Tobago, PNM, the Ministry of National Security, the Minister of Health, and the PNM CMO who get a PNM honorary degree, doctorate. Hear what they say. PCR test results must be in English. So the PNM, who let in and leave the borders open for all we Venezuelan illegal immigrants to come through, who trying to put up Spanish sign. Anytime I go in a massive stores, a super farm, a grocery or thing, anywhere I go, if I go in and, well, I long time bars here open, but if you're going and take a little rum and soda, it's buenos dias, buenas noches, como estate. We cannot read negativo. The PNM cannot read negativo on a PCR test. So our young children, after being set up to fail, getting obliterated, they are depressed. All they want to do is come home and hug up their family because we set them up to be disappointed, defeated, and obliterated. We then leave them outside there, stranded, because the PNM can't read Spanish. And then the editorial in the Newsday, so much for sports. Sport is about sacrifice. Athletes sacrifice their time and their bodies to achieve their potential. In team sports, players sacrifice their ego, personal glory, and even money for collective good. Athletes have been sacrificing still more since March 2020. On August 13, Sport Minister Shampa Kujo was asked whether TNT was observing how other countries, including Jamaica and some other countries, had got the ball rolling. She said, just like any other sector, the faster we vaccinate, the faster we can return to some level of normalcy. Ms. Kujo later put the ball in the chief medical officer's hand. So the ball just passing all over, and sport has gone to nowhere. Even Keshawn Walcott could not go into the Diamond League. He had to stay in K-Pop because all you could not organize for Professor Mastraffa, his coach, and Keshawn, our Olympic gold medalist, our Olympic bronze medalist, to stay in quarantine or to be quarantined and to train. That was so difficult to organize. But when I talk in newspapers, I tell you, Judy Raymond, you have to be the greatest. The people under pressure. The government comes to the parliament to talk about budget day, October 4th. They're telling you about property tax coming. You have to fill out your valuation form by November 30th or 5,000 fine and jail and all kind of thing. They come in to debate the revenue authority. And look, when the whole country is under pressure and stress from the PNM, look at the news, the front page. Ease us up. Now you would think that the PNM has taken some decision that will ease us up if you just glance at that. You know what the headline is? The Chamber of Industry and Commerce, who endorsed Rowley through Gabriel Faria, that PNM scamp, who was paying for surveys before the August 10th election and saying that Rowley is doing great in COVID. The business community, 159 businesses did this survey and Rowley is brilliant and so on. Give Rowley a spike. Allow him with a corrupted EBC to win 2 seats by 2,560 votes and have him in government to raid the treasury once again. They come in to now say the chamber would like an ease up. You asking for an ease up. Rowley he neck on everybody, he knee on everybody's neck, and all they're asking for ease up. Now when we talking ease up, this thing has to stop, I'm telling you all. Not the Guardian especially, all newspapers. This is the package printed of children's private SEA results and who get what school. If y'all don't understand, this is what causes the SEA exam to be extra stressful on children. You want to know why? Parents know that this is coming. And if you're in an office with 40 people and 7 children taking SEA, everybody knows whose first choice is what and who first choice is not and who did what. So as soon as results come out, after they check for their own child, the Trini and Tobogonian go and they check in for Judy child, Sharon child, Yasmin child. You understand? And therefore, parents knowing that, they put an inordinate amount of extra stress on their children. So because they don't like shame and embarrassment. So could you all please stop printing them thing? Let the parents go in the school and get a result. It's not my business what Brian Stone child get. He go tell me if he feel to tell me. You understand? Minister, decline in performance due to physical absence. Meaning they didn't go to school. Yeah, you really saying that, Minister Bundles? It was due to the absence of face-to-face school? Well, what could have mitigated that? Laptops, tablets, devices, online, MiFi. Kamla could have mitigated, and Kamla don't need to put no bundles. You understand? Kamla coming normal, but giving children laptop, tablet, device, Wi-Fi across the board, a digital age, 10 years ago. But you come in now, as all the children, the results have been dramatically worse. And what is even worse is that when we analyze it, you will see that the gap was even bigger between the haves and the have-nots. Those children who have middle class and upper and who could afford, their parents made the sacrifice, got tutors, they had their laptops, they didn't miss a beat, and they did well, they got above 90% and so on. The children who could not afford or who did not have laptops because this minister Bundles and her, they have a blushing picture. She didn't find that one. Blushing with the Prime Minister. She who blushing with the Prime Minister did not want to get laptops for our children to smile and blush when they give them their education. Only 1/3 of students took vaccine ahead of possible school reopening. What I love about the PNM create problems, make problems worse, then come and state that the problem exists and move on. Them don't have no responsibility, them don't bear no responsibility, them don't apologize, them don't resign, them they just come and say, well, the bridges and roads are collapsing. There's a lot of flooding across Trinidad and Tobago. 1/3 of the children only took vaccine. Who responsible for that? Who in charge? The government has a job to do. The PNM is failing across the board and just stating the failure and moving on. And media going, okay, let's go PNM. This is not a joke. Trinidad and Tobago is collapsing on all levels. Girls rule SCA. Remember a long time I tell all you, don't get tied up. Girls are stronger, tougher, more intelligent, concentrate more than boys. Women are more intelligent, stronger, caring, could take more pressure than man. Man, historically, whatever man afraid, they just downgrade or is oppressed. So you see how women have been oppressed, black people were oppressed, Hitler oppressed Jews. Wherever you see oppression, PNM oppressing the UNC and the other areas across Trinidad and Tobago that are intelligent enough to never vote PNM, they are being oppressed and resources are being denied, because whenever there is somebody who has more talent, more ability, more stick-to-itiveness, more discipline, willing to strive and work, you always find an oppressor will keep them down. Girls have been outperforming, women have been outperforming men. As a coach, I can tell you, my top 10 swimmers of all time in 30 years of coaching, and when I coaching, I'm not easy. I make George Bovell cry and work out big, strong, hard George Bovell. And out of the top 10 hardest workers, 9 of my hardest workers in history are all girls and women. The only boy, male, who could qualify in that ability to take pressure and keep going is George Bovell. Hear it clearly. So girls come, girls rule SCA results. Even in Tobago, the top 2 is girls. But all you want to choose Rowley over Kamala. That's why you all have to bad talk Kamala. That's why the media have to attack Kamala. Because if you compare Rowley and Kamala, it's chalk and cheese. Character, brain, intelligence, heart, soul, policy, people, listening, development, across the board. There is no competition. Rowley is not even, if you just talk about man now, if you're talking about man, they have intelligent man, bright man, good man, loving man, man who respect woman, and then they have Rowley down here. You understand? All you went in the bottom of the flipping barrel and scrape out Rowley and put he on top of all of we to suffer us. But what I go say, as we talking about a good man, look at this man. This man has been doing good work with police officer Charbonnet, and he's very proud. An article here, his son Diamond passes for first choice. But it's very interesting, and it's good to see that our young people could fight through. In the months leading up to the critical secondary entrance assessment examination, Diamond Charbonnet, 12, rose every morning while everyone was still asleep and made his own breakfast. He got himself ready, and before online classes at Rosary Boys RC School started at 8 a.m., he was in front of his laptop. All the while, his COVID-stricken father, police officer Derek Charbonnet, who has helped hundreds and thousands of children from at-risk, low-income areas to step away from crime. He has identified talent in them police youth groups without resources, being a father figure to thousands. But here it was, as his son needed him the most, he was down with COVID. All the while, his COVID-stricken father, police officer Derek Charbonnet, founder manager of the St. James Police Youth Club, lay quarantined in his room, hanging in the balance between life and death. Diamond, with the rest of his family, was also under quarantine and could not leave the house, but yet he passed and he's going to his first choice. Well done, son. A top Nelson Street student wants to be a surgeon. The Jones family has had a challenging but rewarding year right? But in the primary school, from Nelson Street boys, Trey Jones passed for his first choice, St. Mary's College, and earned 2 trophies for getting top marks in mathematics and language from Nelson Street boys. The only thing I would tell you, you want to be a surgeon, you can be a surgeon, you could be the best surgeon in the world. But do me a favor, young man, talk to your parents and your family and so on. Tell them, the Douglas say, vote Kamla, vote Tim Gopi Singh, vote Fazal Karim, vote Anita Haynes, vote for education, vote for GATE, so that they don't have to go and have barbecue, curry, corn soup, and so on, for you to be a surgeon like all the other young children now who are struggling because Kamla is not there. If Kamla was there, they wouldn't be having to beg and doing GoFundMe for education. The boy from Diego Martin down in Bagatelle, all the other brilliant young people. So just whisper to them for me, as you are so bright. Tell your family and them, come off this PNM thing, because they suffer you, and your dreams are not as easy, because your parents now have to find for you to become a surgeon, my brother. My goodness, that could be upwards of $2.5 million in education, tutoring, and all of them. Them is a 7-year internship and so on to be a surgeon. You can be it, but you need some assistance, and the government should assist you. And the government that assists you and has shown that they assist children like you is Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. If all you don't like it, switch off. But the truth is the truth, and you all think politics is a game like Manchester United beat up Newcastle today. It is not. Talking about that, beat up. Vasant, I trying not to talk about you, You're so irrelevant, Vasant. When you eating your bus up shot with knife and fork, I want you to eat it in peace, Vasant. I just don't, but Vasant, like you begging to jump in the thing. Vasant, you're tired, you like licks. They have some men just like licks. Some men just go and call the girl and say, oh God, it may slap. Like, you understand? Like the man in the B13, he red girl, it him to slap, and then they start to make love. Vasant, that is like you want to drive a B13 or a B14. You like licks. Kamla beat you mano 2.5 times, and yet she still forgive you, bring you back, put you in the Senate. When you didn't sign up for her to be leader of the opposition in 2009, she didn't discard you. She didn't throw you away. Even though you're a disloyal skunks, you're a Makaram, and she still say, well, boy, the boy is a little bright boy. Let him come and help and so on. She never threw you away. And I could tell you, that is the weakness of Kamla. Because Kamla too nice, her heart too big, she too motherly, she too forgiving. If it was me, I'd have pelt you away from the first time, because I know you're a Nimakaram. And if it was Pandey, you think you could have do Pandey that and still be around? Where you would have be? You think you could have do Eric Williams that? Eric Williams, when he dead, men was afraid to call the ambulance and the doctor because they didn't know what to do. When he did, he said he wasn't going back for leadership in 1979 at the convention. Nobody went there. They didn't know who to go up, because nobody wanted to go up. And they sent a Royal Saloon chauffeur, driven car for him, and the doc come in the convention. Because them don't play. Kamla give you every opportunity, make you Minister of Trade and Industry, acting Minister of Finance, make you Minister of Agriculture, and you come in still to put couture in Kamla party. Let me tell you something. Let me read what you're talking about, Vasan. And for you to print such defamatory nonsense, what you lost in your mind, you didn't read a legal book in a long time. I mean, Moonilal, Barry Padrat, and them would not deal with you. But I will step down today and hit you a few slap, Basan, with 2 pieces of roti while you're eating it with your knife and fork, okay? I have been reliably informed. You informed? You can't be informed because you home doing nothing. You want to be a political leader sitting down in air condition with a bow tie strangling you and taking the blood flow away from all the organs that need to work. I have been reliably informed of a plot to discredit Rudy after his performance on Monday night, after which he won rave reviews. On Tuesday afternoon, 5 p.m. meeting was convened by Barry Padarat together with members of the PTRC. Two members did not attend. The agenda was to start a social media war against Rudy Roodal Moonilal, the UNC, the supporter of Kamala, the lion from Orapuch East, who mash up every time he talk. He mash up in the parliament, mashing up for Roodal Moonilal is not new. Roodal Moonilal mashing up dance, mashing up platform, mashing up speech, mashing up parliament, mashing up Monday night virtual, mashing up on Douglas politics for decades, Vasant. You can't mash up nothing. Some of your girl and them tell me that too. Hey, Vasant, is the boy you're talking, you know what we're talking about. But Vasant, stop this. You disgusting human being. And you're printing and pushing lies. That way you read? Okay. So Kamala, and by the way, I think I am one of Kamala's strongest supporters. How come she didn't call me and say mash up Rudy? Why I have Rudy coming on just now? Moonilal coming in just now. What am I supposed to do? Mash up Roodal Moonilal? Roodal Moonilal is a supporter. Kamala Prasad is a member of the United National Congress, and he was on fire Monday. Brilliant. He gonna be on fire just now. Look him there. Look the lion there. The lion coming. Vasant. So give me a chance and move this ship in it. And Vasant, I don't want to talk about you again. You're on the PNM Recovery Committee. You joined the PNM. You helped the PNM. You went down with Gypsy down in Maruga, and Michelle Benjamin beat you like you like woman to beat you. So just give me a chance and let me know how to talk to you about you. Go in your red. Go with the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the Recovery Committee. The PNM doing good. You say, what are you harassing me for? Enough. I didn't want to talk about you, Vasant. Vasant, ni makaram. Talking about ni makaram. Oh Lord. I build up a sweat for Vasant, yes? The Attorney General knocks opposition for not saying how many MPs have gotten the jab. That is basic information. Listen, Clong. That is not basic information. Every citizen, whether parliamentary representative, garbage man, CPEP worker, teacher, labor worker, fired Petroleum worker, people who lost all their work and cannot get no grant from all year, any worker, man, woman or child in Trinidad and Tobago, that is their health issues, their health information is private and confidential. What you want to know people private and confidential information for, and it's basic information, well, Al Rawi, Al Rental, Al tight pants. You had basic information when you put on your tight pants and tight shirt and went and wind up and dribble up in man ears in a 13 man in one room. The police call you. Play this to me. Look, Mr. Man, no mask. I'm talking about people vaccination. Let me hear.
Everybody just do the balize. Right foot, balize. Left foot, balize. Everybody just do the balize. Everybody just do the balize. Right foot, balize. Left foot, balize. Everybody just do the balize.
And the irresponsible conduct of a few people, maybe one or two parties, maybe one or two lines, to put us on a slope to go backwards.
By day, lawbreaker by night, and your boy Blaze, where JW was, he was outside, he was waiting to come in a tight pants next to you, with the big ball head self, Let me ask you, Al Rawi, Al recusal, Al tight pants, Al mascara man, Al makeup wearing man in the Senate and the Parliament. Let me ask you some basic questions then. Since you want to know we basic health information, like you is we father, let me ask you some questions. How much rent you received thus far since you're swearing to be an Attorney General, the biggest dunce to ever swearing as Attorney General in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and having lost 31 straight cases? How much rent have you received for your own building thus far, cumulatively? How much taxpayers' money have you received thus far to outfit your own building while you are the Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? How much money has been paid to your wife or your wife's firm by the government of Trinidad and Tobago? Not the office of the Attorney General, by the government, meaning the office of the Prime Minister, all statutory authorities, all state bodies, all state corporations, all ministries. How much? Were you in Andrew Gabriel's daughter's wedding? Did you attend? This basic information. Since you answer, man. Why you pay QC Nelson $10.2 million after he had sued for that, he withdraw the case, and then you pay him this exact amount? Why did you do that? When did you do that? What's the timing of that? And is there any connection with that to his so-called one paragraph evidence to withdraw a case against Malcolm Jones and so on? These are basic information the public want to know. We just want. How you and Stuart Young going? All you going good? Eh? All you not lovey-dovey so much? Tell us now basic information. Were you run out of train line in Marabella recently while you were trying to flex like that, and the man and them in Marabella wasn't interested in your flex when you went to ask them about vaccination? Did they run you out of there? Basic information. Why you all withdrew the case on Malcolm Jones? Why did you do that? How much extra time did you spend acquiring your law degree over and above a normal student? How much extra basic information we would like to know? Basically, who is the dunce that's the Attorney General right now? Did you learn to change Pampers yet? Down in the constituency office, you learn how to change the Pampers, how to put the tape, take it off nice, how to wipe and your baby wipes. Did you learn that now in your old age? And not here in your basic information now, we want to know. Did you, are you appealing the fake oil arbitration? We can't hear, we're not hearing all you. And it was you who brought it, PNM, what it, PNM investigation, PNM and PNM and PNM. Are you appealing the PNM arbitration of the PNM fake oil? Muscleman? Were those your children in the photo with the weapons of war on the range? Were those your children? It's that basic information. I mean, you must know who is all your children, including the one you're changing Pampers for now. So basic information. Since you talking basic, give me some of that now. New enterprise, old problems. Despite the reinvention, says the Express, Saturday Express, 11 September, Heritage Petroleum, the state-owned oil enterprise, continues to be dogged by the same old maintenance. So Express, y'all really believed that just changing the name of a company, even though 64 million it advised, said do not shut down Petrotrin, do not shut it down. And Rowley said that it was the board that shut it down. And Winfred Espine went under oath in the industrial court and said no, the board never told Rowley and the cabinet to shut down Petrotrin. And when they shut it down, and then the fake oil case just dissipated and evidence just disappeared, and Rowley just put a lawyer in charge of Heritage who know nothing about oil. Y'all thought that was some brilliant rebranding and restructuring on maintenance and oil production and different decision making? You really thought that, Express? Y'all can't be so daft. Rise in COVID infections among Tobago children. So down to the children suffering because of Rowley's incompetence, arrogance, stupidity, and irresponsibility of inviting Trinis with Brazilian variant to come to Tobago. This Easter is not going to be a talk about the ferry. And what about them ferry? Was it procurement? What was it? Is there bid rigging? Who was in charge? How come ministers procure? Was that a tender process? How come they hand it out one like Dinamin? Who contacted INCAT or Stal to tell them about INCAT bid? Who divulged that secret information? Police, all you don't want to know? Anyway, it looked like the police is PNM. So rise in COVID infections among Tobago children. Children in Tobago. Big people dying. COVID-19 out of control since Rowley infected Tobago. And now he wants to infect Tobago more. When we talking science, follow the science. Our beaches are still closed. We cannot go to the beach. The beach are hot sun. Hot sun kills COVID. COVID only lives, it's only active in hot sun for 12 hours. Indoors, in a mall, in air condition and so on, it's active for 72 hours. Therefore, there's a longer time for it to infect people indoors in the dark, in the cool, rather than in the hot sun. But they have wind, breeze, salt water. Our beaches closed. What's the science on that? While Al-Rawi have a super spreader vaccine event in Gulf City after blanking Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal and the UNC counselor from having a well-organized one in Gulf View Community Center. But look at what's going on in Miami. And Miami, put up the volume.
1:30, Miami, Florida. Actually, Naples, Florida. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Where is the science convent girl? Where is the science CMO, Paris Ram? Where is the science? Vanderbilt Beach, September 11th, Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Have any COVID in Florida or COVID just raging in Trinidad only?
I sweating here like it's hot sun. Look at that. Because they have people who understand. And COVID is there existing in Florida, in Naples. They have infections. They have Delta variant. But they are not suppressing the rights of citizens to utilize the resources of their country. And especially beaches, hot sun, wind, salt. And we had to lock up and cannot go, and we accept that. But while that happening, they go in and read budget to borrow more money, to create more avenues for them to. They legalize thieving already by gutting procurement. Now they indemnifying to thief. Now they're going to have budget to borrow to thief again. They spend the same amount as Kamla Prasad Bisesa. They spend more, than Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and nothing there working. No house air building, no school air building, roads, bridges, everything mashing up, anything flooding. Your children cannot get gate, your children get no education opportunities, nothing for sport, nothing for culture. Hospital, you cannot get medicine, you're getting Panadol in your hand. So where the money gone? As Manning asked Rowley many times, where the money gone? But here where it gone? Because Rowley puts Noel Garcia, his man who had a commission of inquiry into him, and they came to adverse conclusions, while Rowley was Minister of Housing at the Las Alturas project, which also included, during his reign, Greenvale, where people could drown anytime it rained, Edinburgh Towers, across the board. Rowley was the worst Minister of Housing in the history of the country. We have the best Minister of Housing in the history of the country coming up in 10 minutes. The lion, Roodal Moonilal, standing by. But Noel Garcia is now in charge of building all house. And then in Unicott, he is in charge of building airport, hospital, health center, community center, fire station, police station, sports stadium, Red House, President's House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago. One man and one man alone. And Rowley calling other people thief. Very interesting. But while you have no money, you have no support, you get no support. While banks foreclosing on you, your business is shut down and you could never open back again. Unicott under Noel Garcia for Rowley. And remember, I see Noel Garcia coming out of the Massey stores in Alice Glen about 18 months ago with one big bag. And I swear I see Rowley name on it, boy. I don't know how to check. Sun was kind of bright. I check, but I see Rowley, boy. Unicott is tendering out for provision of modified design build services. Let's see, design build, pandemic, people suffering, can't get hamper, can't get grant, no support for small, medium enterprises, no agricultural input, foreign direct investment, nothing, no support, nothing going on. In a pandemic, people suffering. Maybe it's a loan to build ventilators or extra ICU. Let's check. For the restoration of the Galera Point Lighthouse. So Rowley is going to get millions of dollars and spend it, tendering with Noel Garcia to refurbish a lighthouse. When we don't even have trade, we don't even have ship coming in. The raiders are not coming. The Calcutta ship is not coming to overthrow the PNM. But that's their priority. Am I saying that we should never ever take care of our edifices? Of course not. But if people are starving, people are hungry, and people are dying, edifice had to wait, not so? But not under the PNM and Noel Garcia. It's a contract to give. All you go ahead. Mental health failure, says Daily Express. The report of yet another case of suspected suicide has exposed the Ministry of Health And at this time, another case of, and it was World Suicide Day to acknowledge and understand mental health. And didn't I say, Archie, I tell you, here the PNM do not even fund Lifeline to help people in a depressed state during COVID-19 pandemic. They cut funding for Lifeline. Run it, Archie. $40 million behind Atlantic LNG and the Train 1. Not Atlantic LNG, LNG Train 1. And they come in now to look for indemnity, to throw away. First 250 million, now 440 million in nothing. Right? Remember that. I'm going to read something for you. Lack of funding, counseling group Lifeline facing closure. Lifeline says it has run out of funding and faces the threat of closure. The organization, which takes in 10 to 30 calls daily from the despairing and suicidal citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, is teetering on the brink of shutting down after 43 years. More than 80% of Lifeline's calls are from those at high risk of suicide. Think about that. The risk of suicide over the last 18 months has increased dramatically because of the pressures of the COVID-19 pandemic on health, on relationships, on jobs, on risk, on losing of life savings, income, whatever it is. The stress on human beings has gone up. And therefore, consequently, the suicide rate is up. Therefore, there's a greater need for these sort of organizations who do this life-saving. Exactly. And that's what the PNM cares. The PNM cut funding for this, but go into tender to spend money to fix up an old lighthouse. The PNM cut this, but spent $3 million on half a golf course. The PNM cut this funding to Lifeline, but spending money on Al-Rawi rental, spending money on PNM business. The ODPM spent $100,000 to tell us in color in the newspaper that the Jeep and them was out in the flood. That's what the PNM does, and that's what they tend to do. That's the care that they have. They do not even have the care for those most in need at the darkest times to have a phone call that is toll free so that people may not kill themselves. Talking about heartless, the PNM Parliament come back for the second year, and the first thing the PNM come into debate in the Senate is the Revenue Authority to come and dip out in your tax to dig out your information and to take more money from you so Noel Garcia could spend it. And the second thing, they go in and debate down with Moonilal and Kamla and David Lee and Anita Haynes and Khadija Amin, Saddam Hussein, Dr. Lakram Bodo and Dave Tanku and them downstairs. They go in and debate the Tobago Self-Governance Bill. Not the Tobago, Tobagonians don't even want that piece of stupidness that they have, that Shamfa tell them, one in the bush better than none in the hand. They come in to put 15 seats. Well, let me show all you, because all you feel everything is a joke, and when the playing field is not fair, all you want to blame Kamla, as if anybody else would not have been cheated like how the PNM cheated. Look at this now. Archie, put up this. This is the thing, 6 all. Green is PDP, red is PNM. Let's see where the 3 seats coming from, Archie. From the EBC that was instructed by the PNM to create 3 more seats. The independent EBC with a PNM minister niece at the helm. Look where number 13 is. Red. I wonder why, boy. They take an extra seat out of the red. They take 40, another one out of the red, and 15 out of the red. So where the red win, them take 3 more seats out of the red and say, blow whistle, play game. The game is fair. This is why, and if you're all in Trinidad and all, you say, well, that's Tobago. This is what happens in Trinidad, and it will get worse every day that the PNM is in power. This map here has PNM in power. This has PNM in, just look at it. I'm not even going to talk. This map, as it is now, has PNM in power, controlling every bit of resources, every cent, making laws, putting SOE on you because you gonna have Freedom Party, spending every cent, borrowing money while borrowing from friend and family financiers, giving out contract to do lighthouse and not give all your support, no laptop, nothing. This is Trinidad and Tobago, and the PNM, which is red, is in charge. As we talk now, we're going to talk to Moonilal because I'm a rare admiral. Me I know if he's a boomsy admiral or what kind of admiral. Rare admiral. Me I know if he does eat steak or if he does like it well done. Come to talk about don't drag me into a dark place. Nobody want to drag you into a dark place. We's not the minister, man. We don't know, don't do them thing, Pritchard. We ask you some very serious questions. You've not answered. You're trying to talk about Rear Admiral. We have a Navy. We was in the war. You went in Vietnam. Where you fight in Korea. Where you was in Afghanistan. But we're going to talk to MP Moonilal with that. But imagine Ethelbert telling people, do your jobs. Ethelbert, the laziest man in the whole country. A man who's been useless in politics and used by politicians, who's been given a portfolio only to give Gary Griffith pressure. Roodal Moonilal said there seems to be a plot to oust Gary Griffith. And Ethelbert comes now to tell the police, all you're doing a terrible job. Only 40% of y'all working, 60% not doing nothing. In other words, Gary Griffith ain't good. All of a sudden, Ethelbert is saying that. Well, we go in and ask because Israel can now come. Because Trinidad and Tobago has become a country of cowards. I asking, when Roodal Moonilal comes out and says it is illegal for the Police Service Commission and for any person to appoint private citizens to investigate the independent Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. When Moonilal said that, the only man to come out and say yes, Moonilal is correct, is Israel Khan. And now he's calling on former Attorney Generals John Jeremy, Russell Martino, and Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj to say what is the law? Is it right? Is it legal? No, I'm glad Israel can talk because I was drinking coffee the other morning and listen to what I say. And when I'm done with this, Moonilal coming in, run it quick, Archie.
Doubles and coffee. Fear has paralyzed this nation. Dr. Roodal Moonilal makes the most alarming allegations in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, basically stating that we have arrived at that place called dictatorship, when the executive, who should be investigated, who should be under careful watch by many independent institutions, because they're the ones with their finger on the golden pen that could spend your money, the taxpayers' money, billions of dollars. Dr. Moonilal says that it is illegal, it is improper, it is not on for private citizens to investigate the independent arm of the TTPS, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and thereby the Commissioner of Police and any other officers. That they are constitutional arms that are given the responsibility so to investigate. Who appointed these private citizens? Is this right? Is Dr. Moonilal right? If he is right, this is very scary, and it comes on top of board members asking for indemnification for wrong decisions that will not be insured by insurers because they don't insure decisions taken in bad faith. On top of our Minister of National Security, Stuart Smallpin-Young, stating categorically that police on the Joint Select Committee on Hansard, that police report to him about political opponents. This is a very dangerous thing, yet this silence is deafening from our intellectual capital, our intellectuals, our people who are qualified, our retired judges. What say you? Is this not a critical situation? Retired DPPs, retired prosecutors, nobody, lawyers. And you all want a brief so bad from Al-Rawi, Al-Recusal, Al-Taipans, and Al rent out his own building. The PNM
has instilled fear across the country. One senior counsel came out, Israel can, and said that's absolute nonsense, illegal, they cannot do it. A professor, a former chairman of the Public Service Commission, Ramesh Dioshan, said that's okay. Professor, I would like to hear from the lawyers. All my senior counsel, all my patriots, all my Trinbagonians, scared? What? You study all those years to be so smart. All that pressure, stress, exams, drinking coffee, sleepless nights, money spent, parents spent, investment, being so intelligent to become cowards, to become afraid. This is very serious. We need to hear from you all. We need to hear from attorneys, senior counsel, lawyers, those in the know, judges, somebody. This is utter madness. And this from a prime minister and a cabinet that has shattered corporate governance across the board. From a prime minister who did not even respect the parliament and went inside and lied on a sitting prime minister, other ministers, and the now commissioner of police, saying that they conspired to murder when it was totally fabricated, total lies. A man who have a track record. Who's controlling the police? Who's investigating the police? You didn't. You see, we stay quiet. When he say he appointing police from Barbados to investigate DSS, your lawyers stay quiet. Y'all who know, y'all who read books, y'all who study, y'all who are experts. What are we becoming? A country of cowards? Billionaire businessmen calling me and saying, Anil, don't call my name, don't call my company. Procurement, corruption, thieving, no tender. I say, all you don't tell me that. Because if all you don't want me to call your name and all you don't want to give me information, all you don't want to stand up and take pressure. But this has gone too far. Where are the voices? The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the judiciary. So next, tampering what? Judiciary? Tampering with judges? Bringing pressure to bear? That's the only, the last bastion of...
And yes, the lion from Oropuch East, Dr. Roodal Moonilal is here to discuss all of these issues. Dr. Moonilal, come in, talk to me. I mean, Vasan say, Anil trying to mash you up, and we had to mash up Moonilal because he performing well and he brilliant and he bringing information. But as far as I know, that is your style long time. Good evening, my brother.
Hi, good evening. Anil, I hope you're hearing me okay. Let me begin by congratulating you on the wonderful job you're doing and the enormous sacrifice and diligence and enormous work that goes into these programs. And I wish you all the best in the future so you can continue this type of work for the betterment of our great country.
Now, talk to me about the main first issue. You brought up some serious allegations which I believe are the most dangerous, damning accusations about oppression, dictatorship, lack of separation of powers. It hits every note of anti-democracy philosophy that I have ever read. The appointing or the appointment of private citizens to investigate the police. Talk to me.
Well, Anil, I made the point on the last Monday night forum that it is wrong. It is not only improper, but I believe it is fundamentally illegal for the Prime Minister to be appointing individual private citizens to investigate police officers in a constitutionally protected Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And I will explain why. The law establishes a police complaints authority to inquire and investigate matters pertaining to the conduct of police officers. The Police Service Commission only has responsibility for the Commissioner of Police and the Deputy Commissioners of Police as it relates to discipline. In the police, you have something called the Professional Standards Bureau that investigates time and time again the conduct of police officers. Private citizens are not empowered in law. They do not have any authority at all, any locus, any status to investigate the behavior, the conduct, the workings of police officers or any division in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Now, that is wrong. Today we got the information, as you know, that the Police Complaints Authority has now officially advised that they are investigating the issuance of firearms and so on in a department or a unit of the TTPS. Now, while I have no difficulty with that, the Police Complaint Authority can do that. They're entitled to do that. They're empowered to do such an investigation. To me, it is a waste of time. It is a waste of resources. We live in a country where the government is expending enormous monies trying to figure out, investigate how firearms came into the hands of lawful citizens, of citizens who obey the law, of innocent citizens. They want to inquire how firearms get into the hand of lawful citizens, but they are not concerned with how thousands of guns get into the hands of criminal elements. That is the issue they should be concerned about, not how law-abiding citizens get firearm. It is how criminal elements get firearm. That is the issue. Now, the other matter is that I have called on Rear Admiral Hayden Prashad earlier in this week, and one retired senior superintendent, Arthur Barrington, from the special branch, to identify themselves. It is my understanding that they were appointed to conduct an investigation into the issuance of firearms in the TTPS. This is extra constitutional. The Prime Minister has been abusing his authority from day one. Anil, you will recall, the Prime Minister takes the position as chairman of the National Security Council. I believe there was a time in the partnership administration where you, Anil, would have attended those meetings to provide information, to provide detail and so on different matters. That is chaired by the Prime Minister, but that is a policy-making subcommittee of cabinet. That is not an operational arm of law enforcement. The Prime Minister has misinterpreted, misdirected himself into believing that the National Security Council is an operational arm of law enforcement. It is not. It is a committee of cabinet, just as the Finance and General Purposes Committee. We had a committee for social policy and so on. That is not operation. So the National Security Council and its chairman cannot appoint anyone to investigate anything. It is the police that investigates in this country. If you have knowledge or you believe you have information on criminal wrongdoing and so on, you can write the DPP. The DPP in our law can look at the allegations, the evidence, information, and he can call upon the police to conduct an investigation into any matter. So the DPP has the power. The Police Complaints Authority has the power. But Rowley appoints two gentlemen who, I don't know how we know them or when he know them, he appoints them to investigate. That is unlawful, it is unethical, it is improper. Now we are told, and I want to bust the mark on your program now because I have a few things to say that is new information to add to this business. We are now being told that there may not be any report in the first place, that there may be no report. No institution of law enforcement have any report at this time on the issuance of firearms. It may well be that these gentlemen go on in the computer and type up what you call a letter or a memo or something, call people name, indicate that they have information, A, B, and C is involved in wrongdoing and so on, but there is no report. And today, I have just issued a statement to the press, and I'll repeat it. I call upon the Prime Minister to lay the report of Mr. Prashad and Mr. Barrington in the Parliament. There's a joint select committee on national security of the Parliament. Lay the Prashad and Barrington report before that committee. Let us look at their report. What are they saying? What did they investigate? What authority did they have? There's a fascinating matter. When you apply for firearm, for example, you have to give personal information, personal data, business, and so on, what business you are involved in. And they may make supplemental notes concerning your international business, your local business, what job do you do, for example. Those are confidential matters. Those are confidential and private files in the possession of the firearm department of the police. That is not meant to be scrutinized and revised by private citizens. Is it that Rear Admiral Prashad and Mr. Barrington had access to private and confidential files of 50,000 applicants for a firearm? That is a fascinating, that is a frightening prospect, because those files have other type of information. The police has a duty when they are processing applications, to ask questions, to inquire, to put information. If they believe someone is not proper, someone may have a nefarious background or something, they can take notes.
Let me add there, Roodal, that the information when you are applying for a firearm license also, you have to get a psychological profile. So you have to go to a psychologist, and this is your private health information and report from a psychologist to say that you are okay to own a firearm, that you're not suffering from any form of mental illness or affliction. They have to go and interview your wife home, check your house, look inside, see how many children you have. All of this information is there.
So they may have a diagram of your house where you are keeping a firearm and so on. They may have a diagram, a description of the internal structure of your house, your bedroom. That may be in the file. Now, I want to tell you, I have never applied for a firearm. As you know, a lion don't need a firearm. But I've never applied. But many people have applied, and I'm informed that that is the kind of secret and confidential information that you have in the file. Is it that private citizens were allowed to access 50,000 files, 5,000 applicants recently, and go through their secret confidential documents about their house, their design of their house, their banking business, their business, and so on? That speaks volumes. This is why I'm calling for that report before the Joint Select Committee of Parliament on National Security. The Prime Minister must do that. While that is happening, the Minister of National Security is saying absolutely nothing about this calamity that now befall us as a country. And I would get to him just now. You saw the front page of a newspaper. I was shocked. And I was shocked when I read that Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, new minister, is now saying the police and law enforcement operating at 40%. But he has been fired from 4 ministries. He is operating on 5% or less. He has been fired 4 times. And now talking about the police, talking about the army and so on. Let me repeat, and I put in the statement too, this is a government that has slashed and slaughtered the budget of the TTPS. When they asked for $500 million for services and goods, they got 20% or 25% of that. They cannot pay their bills. There was a time when landlords in this country wanted to throw out police from building. They cannot pay phone bill. They cannot pay utility bills. They cannot pay rent. They cannot fix car. They own garages for fixing car and so on. They're boasting about maritime patrol unit and so on. They cannot buy a RAF for that unit. So that you smother the police, you deny them the resources, and now you say they're not performing. Look at the Coast Guard. All the boats down Chagaramas park up down there. They don't have fuel. They don't have manpower. They cannot patrol because you are not providing the resources, while you spend $20 million to upgrade the Prime Minister residence in Tobago so that he could go to live full-time in Tobago and leave the rest of the Waltons family in Port of Spain Diplomatic Center. So you starve resources from the national security apparatus. If you look at the army, everywhere there's a complaint about resources, and it is an act of hypocrisy for Fitzgerald Hines to be telling the security forces they're performing under par, while he himself has been starving them of resources, and he himself is a non-performer.
On that point, Roodal, because we have been in a state of emergency for over 120 something days. Lockdown. We have had lockdown after lockdown, shutdown, and broke down. We have had the country on a shutdown with no movement, no businesses open, no bars, no cash moving, and so on. Yet in a state of emergency, we are seeing crime spiraling out of hand, especially since Ethelbert has sworn in.
The government and Ethelbert Hines have absolutely no clue on how to deal with crime. Absolutely none. They are in a game. They are in a campaign, in a plot to undermine the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. In fact, it is the government that is undermining the police service in Trinidad and Tobago, because they are undermining the application of Gary Griffith. Everybody knows that. That is the most worst kept secret in this country today. That is why Hines stated today 40% of the police only working, 60% not working. What you are doing is making an aspersion, casting aspersions on the incumbent and acting commissioner of police, Gary Griffith, because he was responsible for 3 years. Today, for example, I expected Hines to give some program, some policy, some inspirational leadership to the law enforcement community so that they can take their vaccines. Their vaccination rate is very low, and they are frontline workers. Many police officers have lost their lives to a preventable virus called COVID-19. It is preventable, but the police and other arms of national security have been slow to take the vaccines, and Hines says nothing about this. He's concerned with the performance, which he cannot measure, which he has not measured. And this is the scandal that Fitzgerald Hines today placed this country in. So I asked him clearly to tell us, are you undermining the Commissioner of Police? Yes or no? Will you bring that document, the report of Barrington and Prashad, that report, will you bring it to the National Security Joint Select Committee? Yes or no?
Before you go on, you have just said something there, and I could feel through the Facebook and the YouTube on Douglas Politics. I could feel the tension in the people and the citizens. Are you saying, Roodal Moonilal, that it appears to be that the PNM under Keith Christopher Rowley, Ethelbert Hines, Stuart Smallpin Young are trying to remove Captain Gary Griffith from the position of Commissioner of Police to replace him with somebody who is more amenable to the PNM policies, positions, protocols, and nepotism?
I want an answer to that question. I want to remind you and remind your viewers and listeners and the thousands of them, and I want to hail them out. And it is not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but I've been receiving messages from Canada, the United States, London, and other areas in the Caribbean that are now looking at your program. And we want to welcome them, of course, and thank them for their great support. But in the Joint Select Committee of National Security, I want to remind you, when Stuart Young came to that committee, a matter came up there. It was not a matter involving Roodal Moonilal or Jerlene John or Khadija Amin, where there was actually an admission that the security forces, particularly the SSA, Strategic Services Agency that does spying, that they were spying on the Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. And Gary Griffith, I believe, in some public forum, has indicated that he was aware that the security services were spying on him. So Stuart Young was in charge of national security, went to the parliament on record and indicated that they were watching Gary Griffith. They were watching him, and the security agencies were spying on him. That is what came out in that report. Today, it continues that they are using the SSA. And listen, when I talk, my brother, you know I have some information. That report that we are dealing with on firearm, part of that report, I'm being told, is from the SSA as well. It is from the same people who were watching Jerlene John, Roodal Moonilal, Khadija Amin, and writing all such a stupidness. While writing stupidness, it is the same people now talking about firearms because the government objective is to undermine the TTPS and undermine Commissioner Gary Griffith. And I make no apologies for saying that today I call upon the Prime Minister and I call upon Hines to tell us whether the SSA had any role to play by putting by putting Bacchanal and Movelang into a report of Rear Admiral Prashad and Superintendent Barrington. That is why we want that report in the Parliament Joint Select Committee urgently.
Roodal Moonilal, citizens, the one grain of salt, the one straw that they could hold on to in this devastatingly disgusting, disgraceful government called Rowley's PNM is that at least there is Gary Griffith there who has power to keep them safe. That if there are bandits moving around, you could call Gary. He gave his number out. He gave his cell number. He gives WhatsApp. He's always on the ball, trying to work hard. Yes, he has been starved of resources, and clearly we see now that it was a plan designed to thwart his results. But people and citizens out there of all races, all cultures, all religions feel a sense of security that at least Gary Griffith is there trying to keep us safe, trying to hit back at the criminals. And you are saying that it appears that Keith Rowley and his government are trying to get rid of Gary Griffith. I call upon you, Roodal Moonilal, and myself as a UNC senator, we call upon Keith Rowley, Ethelbert Hines, Small Pinyong. Tell us right now, tell the country, is there a move to replace Gary Griffith? If so, why?
These are the important questions that arose this week, and it will continue because Anil, I want to say I have great respect for members of the judiciary. I mean no disrespect to retired Justice Stanley John. I mean no disrespect, but Mr. Justice John, you are in a difficult position. You are being appointed by, we don't know who, if it is the Prime Minister or the Police Service Commission, to undertake a job where a report that may be before you, or a memo, or a letter, or a piece of correspondence, or something written on a napkin, could come before you, and that was illegally or unlawfully obtained. And you are in that position now where you may have to consider that. And I ask retired Justice Stanley John to please consider his position clearly before he goes forward with these matters now.
But Roodal Moonilal, you are scaring the population. Because if one human being or a human being who is qualified in a certain area to know what their authority is, to know whether they can conduct an investigation or not, retired Justice Stanley John, who had a great career, brilliant judge, attorney, he should know whether it's right or whether it's wrong. We are hearing Israel Khan saying it's wrong. Why are all our other senior counsels silent? Why is the Law Association silent? What is the position?
Well, before I move on to the NGC matter, which I want to get to quickly, let me say, Anil, that it is really shocking. It is a shame. It really suggests the level of intimidation of this government. When something like this happens, and the NGC matter as well, we hear nothing from institutions such as the Chambers of Commerce. Anil, when we were in power, you remember an organization called Transparency International? Every Monday morning, they come in with a press release. If you read it 9 o'clock, they see your next one 2 o'clock on everything we're doing. Where's Transparency International? Where's the Chamber of Commerce? Where's the Law Association?
Hold up, Roodal. Would you like me to tell you about Transparency International? At that time when we were in government, Roodal Moonilal, my favorite wicketkeeper of the West Indies, Derek Murray, was the head of Transparency International. And as you said, every Monday morning he would speak up and speak up. And then when we were kicked out of office and Rowley was replaced, he went deafeningly silent, and I would call him and say, but what is going on, cat? Got your tongue? Well, he is now the High Commissioner to Jamaica, appointed by the PNM, plus he was on a PNM Sport Company board.
So I will call out the rest of them later, but the Law Association, the Chambers of Commerce that speak so much about governance when we were there. Look at NGC, members of the Board of Directors asking for an unparalleled indemnity because they are doing something that is wrong. They want to be protected from liability. Not to be sued, they go sue them, but they want to be protected from liability. And that is unheard of, it is unparalleled. And the society, the people who were condemning us on transparency and procurement and all these type of things say nothing at this time. But I want to update that issue for you on your program live. Do you know to this day, the president of NGC, I think his name is Mark Loquan. I am informed that Mr. Loquan today is negotiating with NGC an extension of his package. His package is in the vicinity of $200,000 a month. Now, I'm not casting aspersions on the gentleman. He may be worth that, he may be worth more, I don't know. But at a time like this, when they have serious questions to answer, $200 million gone. They cannot tell us where the money gone. Do you know Mr. Loquan and others there gave $200 million between December 2020 to June 2021. They gave $200 million to Atlantic LNG to quote-unquote upgrade, turn around, rescue Train 1. To this day, there's no upgrade. There's no upgrade. There's no rescue. There's no turnaround. Where the $200 million gone? We want it back. But we are told now that it may have gone into the pockets of contractors of Atlantic LNG. We want to know who are those contractors that pocketed that money. Are they connected to the PNM? Are they connected to the campaign in Tobago? You showed that disgusting map earlier where they claw out, they prize out and claw out seats in the PNM area for extra seats for the assembly. Look at the naked and obscenity that goes there. And today, contractors are receiving $200 million for no upgrade, no turnaround, nothing. We want to know what are they doing. And NGC has to answer where that money gone, and we will not stay silent. And I tell them today they will not intimidate us. They will not intimidate us. At least when we were in office, Anil, every dollar we spend, you could find a cabinet minute, you could find a report, you could go in bank and look from bank to bank to bank to find out where money gone. And that is why today they can talk what they want about Roodal Moonilal, talk what they want about Anil Roberts. Today, I just go to the police station to drop water for them. I have no fear. I have no fear of walking past a police station, because when we operated according to the law. When we spent money, which we did, we spent money according to policy. We spent money according to certain approvals. That's why 6 years later, we cannot find anything.
Explain to the people who may not understand that all directors of state boards and statutory companies and private sector boards can apply to insurers like Lloyd's of London for directors' liability insurance and so on. Why was NGC and their directors not able to secure insurance? Is it because you must be taking decisions in good faith?
You have to operate what is called in good faith and honestly. You have to operate with honesty and in good faith. That is what the law provides for that. Once you operate honestly and in good faith, you cannot be scared of liability, so to speak. But it is only when you are operating and you believe that what I am about to do is in bad faith, it is dishonest, it is without, I am told when they took that decision to throw away the $500 million, of which 200 gone already, they had no proper documentation, no technical report, no legal advice, and they took a decision based upon the pushing of certain people at that board meeting on December 4th and December 2nd, 2020. They took a decision without any advice at all. And that is why the directors wanted indemnification, because they knew that any investigation into that matter, they would have been liable in a court of law. And today it is a scandal that we do not know where the $200 million have gone. And in the parliament, we will be asking these questions into which pocket it went. Because if it is that contractors down in the deep south linked to contractors or are contractors as well on the airport terminal, you know they're spending $500 million for one terminal, not an airport. If it is there are links between contractors in Tobago and in Point 14 Atlantic LNG, we will have to follow the money, because $200 million is a lot of money.
Well, furthermore,
today when they're firing people, and NGC now is thinking of firing 130 workers. Imagine they blow $200 million and now they want to fire 130 employees of NGC. Then there's a bubble shaping up, which I will put a teaser on your show. NGC has been involved in Ghana, in Africa. That is an initiative, Anil, that was taken by our government. Our government took the initiative to develop energy relationship with Africa. It was Kevin Ramnarine, Chan Chedi Singh and others and so on who took that initiative. Today they are involved with some program and some projects in Ghana. But of course, a local PNM man is the man who controlling everything, making everything. And in a few days, I will come to the public with some information on that. But NGC is in a mess. And Stuart Young, and I want to tell you, this man who you fondly refer to as Small Pin, he has been in office for 6 years. Anil, you, me, and the puppy here cannot find one achievement of this man in 6 years. Anything he touch, mash up. Dragonfield gone, Sandals gone, Petroleum gone, NGC gone. That is the track record Small Pin has, but he has not even achieved maybe only a Small Pin.
Well, is Small Pin What we can say, he achieved small pin in West Hills. He might have achieved Asha Javid, but that was before government. But what he has achieved, his brother Angus and the company won tender after tender for totaling up to $3.81 billion up to May 2020 in work. His father is now the man heading the committee to discuss any investment. Well, there's no investment coming in, but to report to Small Pin and Rowley. And he got to recuse himself some 37 times from the cabinet. But Roodal Moonilal, you hit a key point there. They spend money and they waste 250 million, another 250 million to be wasted while asking for indemnification. That NGC is going to fire 130 workers, 450 workers fired from CAL. The whole of Petroleum, 5,460 monthly paid workers, and another 6,000 daily paid temporary workers, contract workers from Petroleum lost their work. Job cuts across the board, and yet the PNM is coming to debate with you in the parliament on Wednesday. The EBC changing Tobago to 15 seats, of which they take the 3 seats extra from PNM strongholds, and to come on Tuesday to debate in the Senate the Revenue Authority to take more money from people while telling them they come in to give them property tax on top of that too.
Anil, this government has gone rogue. They have gone rogue. They have lost it. In fact, the wheels are out of the caravan, so to speak. If you look at what they're doing in Tobago, that naked and obscene grab for power by manipulating the Election and Boundaries Commission. The TTRA, that Revenue Authority, that is a bill that first came, legislation for a constitutional majority. When they realized that the UNC was on the side of the workers, the UNC was on the side of decency, they changed that bill. That bill is coming now as a bill for what is called a simple majority. They have come like a thief in the night. In the Senate, Wade Mark told us, normally you have 4 days where you are, what is called notice, 4 days that you will get a bill and you will study it and so on. They came Friday, gave you a bill until you come out Tuesday, which is 1 working day, what is called clear day before a debate on a revenue authority. They want to bring the revenue authority by us. The property tax is nothing less than a disgrace. Today, citizens throughout the country are in trauma. They are in trauma. They are in distress over every aspect of the property tax. Because if you have now a swimming pool outside, you have an outdoor toilet, you have X amount of square footage in your lawn, you have a house, but you have a little annex for a temple, a small church or prayer room, all of that now they're coming to do a valuation on. So you will be paying something different to your neighbor. You're living on the same lot of land, you have the same 3-bedroom house, but they're looking to come now and macko everything in the yard, everything in the house, to put a ad hoc, arbitrary property tax for you. So that this government is sparking confusion. They are sparking frustration. And I want to remind you, Anil, it is not far from here. A prime minister got a bus head just up the road, because he wasn't listening to the people. A prime minister in Canada, a fellow who we always thought was popular, they rained him with stone a few days ago in Canada. Because you see these leaders sometimes like Rowley, they're not listening, and they're not listening to the people. Now, I am not telling people to boss Rowley here to pelt him down with big stone and so on. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that the government and Keith Rowley must take note of the passion, of the distress, and the frustration of people in this society today, and don't attempt to railroad their sentiments. Look at what is happening, the NGC scandal, the police service where you are undermining Gary Griffith, the property tax coming, the revenue authority, the gerrymandering. That is what it is, gerrymandering in Tobago. All is coming at the same time, and this society now is like a keg. It will take just a spark for something volatile to happen. And I am not suggesting at all that people do anything that is unlawful or unconstitutional. But what I am saying is this government is not hearing. They are not hearing.
Roodal.
I don't have the authority as somebody yesterday to warn them. I am not warning nobody. I don't have that authority. But what I'm saying, the government must take stock. They must step back and don't be so arrogant with property tax, with revenue authority, with sending home people at NGC, and with the blatant theft that is taking place in the state sector.
As you were talking about that, please explain to me, because it's very difficult. You are a man Your passion, your heart is in labor. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, your prime minister, your political leader, she loves people, labor, workers, poor, single mothers. You had labor movement people, Errol McLeod. I am a labor-centered person, people person, policy. Yet, Roodal Moonilal, in my beloved country, please talk to labor. I have never seen labor be under such attack from Rowley. And let me tell you something. No stone can hit Rowley because the stone go watch the hardness, the heartlessness and run and turn back. Because not a normal human being can be so heartless, Roodal.
That might be abusing the stone. Anil, the labor movement in this country, I'm on public record as warning the labor movement not to play games with the PNM. Not to play games. They play games with the PNM over Petroleum. They went silent when 10,000 workers, direct and indirect workers, went home from Petroleum. You know why? They thought they're getting a refinery to run. I said in the press, I said no refinery for OWTU, none for patriotic energies and technologies, none. They're playing games. Look at the same thing is happening today. They're not saying anything on NGC. Nobody marching, nobody protesting, because they're still hoping that they will get a little end from the refinery. The refinery gone through. The labor movement has been abused by this government, and many of them continue to play games with the government. The PNM is a monster. It will crush you. It will suck you up and eat you out and spit you out. That is the PNM. And their history of tyranny against labor is well known in this country, Anil, and across the Caribbean. They destroyed Petroleum. They destroyed Caroni. Could I remind you, Naikwan, which is a matter you raise all the time. You remember part of the money we have to retrieve from Naikwan has to do with equity ownership in Naikwan, so that the people of Trinidad and Tobago has an interest in Naikwan, if it's profitable or not. Today, Naikwan not making 1 red cent. They're not making 1 red cent. So it is us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who have lost, because they tied the sale. They tied the sale of that plant, WTL or so. They tied the sale to a production sharing arrangement, to getting money when they produce. And today the people of Trinidad and Tobago have lost that as well. They gave that away, I think, for $10 million. Having spent US and 10 million US, having spent 500 million US. Of course, so that the Naikwan matter has to come up. The refinery, in fact, that refinery will be sold as scrap iron anytime now to 1 or 2 scrap iron dealers. Because you cannot go back in that, and you cannot go back and open up the refinery now. That is not a kettle you're making tea and you take it off and then you can plug it on next week and boil water. Those things are sophisticated plant and equipment.
On that point, on behalf of Roodal Moonilal, the Member of Parliament for Oropuch East, the Lion, on behalf of the political leader of the United National Congress, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and on my behalf, we all three are labor-centric labor people who believe in labor and a fair shake to labor. I am saying from what Dr. Moonilal has said to my labor union leaders and labor members, stop playing games. This is not fun. This is not Manchester United beating up Newcastle. This is your life. This is your children's life. This is future. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and her government settled 145 wage negotiations. We had workers, we created 55,000 jobs under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Workers had an air. You could cost, you could carry on, you could do what you want, but you would get a meeting. Roodal Moonilal met with every single trade union on every single issue that came up. Am I lying, Moonilal?
Correct. We settled wage agreements. We settled collective bargaining problems. When there were strikes and so on, people like us actually met the labor movement and discussed and came to, understanding and so on. The PNM like to say we give away money and we squandered and waste and so on. When you make a collective agreement with workers, that you arrive at that from the process of bargaining, from negotiations, and that is what the workers have negotiated for. That is what they, in a strange way, that is what they want. That is what they're entitled to. So you mustn't talk as if we squandered money by giving workers money. When you give workers money and you pay people's wages, they spend in the supermarket, in the drugstore, in the hardware. They spend the money in the economy. It generates economic activity. When you generate economic activity, businessmen pay taxes. When businessmen pay taxes, the government gets more in revenue. so that it is a wheel that spins around with economic activity, income, foreign exchange, job creation. We were about that. That is why, for example, Anil, I want to tell you, the other day I had to go down Point 14 to do something down there, and I was so impressed. I felt so proud of myself. I felt proud of you. I felt proud of Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, the Partnership Administration, when I saw that beautiful Point 14 hospital that we turned sod for, that we started construction, that those fellas took 6 years to complete when we were going to complete it in 6 months after 2015. If you see how beautiful that hospital is in Point 14, Eric Williams promised that in 1963. It was Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the partnership that delivered it. Today, in Point 14, that hospital in Arima, if we didn't put the infrastructure in place today, what would have happened with the COVID management? If you think of it, the Debe campus, the Couva Children Hospital, the Arima Hospital, the Point 14 Hospital, the Teaching Hospital in San Fernando, the tennis center on the corridor there, which you were responsible for, the velodrome. We built Trinidad and Tobago. That is where the money go on. If you look in this country, you can see evidence of the partnership. That is where the money went. After
Roodal,
6 years,
as we
they spent
wrapping up,
$200 billion. They have nothing to show.
as we wrapping up, a young lady asked me a question. Anil, you have opportunities to go outside and coach and do anything you want outside and so on. What you still here? Why under an EBC? Why under a dictatorship of Rowley and Small Pin and no independent institutions operating and senior council and law association and people, businessmen, millionaires are cowards and the economy is gone and the crime is out of hand, the education system crumbling, housing crumbling, infrastructure crumbling. Why you keep fighting? I'm giving you that question now, Moonilal. Why do we keep fighting? Give the people some hope.
Anil, we believe fundamentally in the goodness of people. We believe that this country is blessed with resources, not just mineral resources and so on. It's blessed with human resources. This is the country of our birth. We have a duty to protect this country. We have a duty to develop this country. We have the capacity, we have the skill, we have the human resources to develop this country into a paradise. The only problem this country have, which is a significant problem, is something called the PNM. And that is why we continue to fight. We continue to fight each and every single day because we believe that this country can be a paradise on earth. We believe that the people of Trinidad and Tobago, by their birthright, they should be prosperous. They should have opportunity. They should have equality. We should live in unity. We must not divide our people and discriminate one group to the next group. We believe in those fundamental concepts. We believe that the United National Congress is the only institution in this country that stands in the way between the PNM and complete dictatorship. We believe that the UNC, the principles that formed and built the UNC are principles that are alive today in the United National Congress. They are principles that our political leader and others articulate well. And we believe that those principles must develop our country. And that is why people like myself and you, we go through all the pain. Let me tell you something, my brother. They humiliate us. They insult us. They attack us day and night. In Parliament, you know what they say about people like me, you and others, not only us. You know what they say about us, but we continue to fight because we believe there's goodness at the end, that we will triumph for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. And as I always tell people in struggle, we must be prepared to struggle until victory or death, whichever shall come first.
Well, happy Ganesha Chaturthi, and that celebrates the human intellect. And that's what we say. PNM and UNC is not the same. UNC's intellect across the board, from the Prime Minister Kamla versus Rowley, brighter. Moonilal versus Small Pin, brighter. Anil versus any of them, and all of them, brighter. Jerlene John, Wade Mark, Jayanti Laxmidiyal, we come down David Lee, Saddam Hussein. The UNC has people in every area to handle the myriad of problems of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the hope. But we need to unite. We need to get rid of the evil and the darkness that has put a cloud over Trinidad and Tobago. Lion from Orapuch East, Anil says thank you. We're going to watch the cricket. Good night.
The PNM fear him, the people them love him.
He have the skills that the man have the knowledge. Look how much people he up in a village. So much kids he send out to college. And I tell you he's the voice of the poor. He stand firm in the times of war. Or a poetry you voting for. Moonilal a lion, he's a champion. He's a lion, he's a champion. Raw in lion, he's a champion. Experience full of education. Moonilal a lion, he's a champion. He's a lion, he's a champion. Raw in lion, he's a champion. Experience full of education. Them try bringing down your character, but as a lion you know you is a fighter. Them things only make you stronger. Or a pooch trying to dip in your finger. One thing I want you to remember, he's a doctor also.